Okay, let's just jump right in. 17 teaspoons. That's apparently the average added sugar someone in the U.S. eats every single day.
17. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. It's way, way more than recommended, like 2 or 3 times more. It adds up to something like 60 pounds a year.
60 pounds. That's a...
6 bowling balls.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Like, what are we actually eating?
It really does. And, you know, the crazy thing is how much we can find out just by looking closely at food labels. That's where the power is, I think.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle today. We've got the resources you sent over, that one on reading food labels, the Healthy Eating for Weight Control doc, plus stuff from the American Heart Association on sugar and Harvard on sugary drinks.
Right. Good stuff there.
So our mission basically is to help you figure out how to read those labels, especially for sugar, and then, connect that to actually eating healthier day to day for weight, for preventing disease, all that good stuff. Think of it as getting the key info without having to read a textbook. Practical stuff you can use next time you're shopping.
Exactly. So let's start with that first document, unknowingly.pdf. It mentions 2 main parts to a label, Fungtin Sumfem and Chuthich, product info and notes.
Yeah, pretty much. The product info part is where most of the nutrition action is.
Okay, so what's crucial there?
Well, first thing, serving size. Always look at the serving size first. Everything else on the label, the calories, the fat, the sugar, it's all based on that specific amount.
Ah, good point. Easy to eat like 3 servings without realizing it if you don't check.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you get the calories per serving, obviously, and it often breaks out calories from fat, too.
Right. And then it lists nutrients to maybe limit fat, cholesterol, salt, and ones to get enough of fiber, vitamins, minerals.
Yeah, think of it like watch the top list, aim higher on the bottom list, and then comes the percent daily value, the per-CV. That's super useful.
Okay, what's the deal with the per-CV?
It basically tells you how much a nutrient in one serving contributes to a general daily diet. It's based on 2,000 calories, which isn't perfect for everyone, but it gives you a quick reference point.
And the document mentions that 520 rule. That seems handy.
Yeah, it's a great shortcut. Basically, 5% DD or less of a nutrient is considered low for that serving.
Okay.
And 20% DV or more is high.
So, like, if you want more fiber, look for 20% or more, and if you're watching sodium, aim for 5% or less.
You got it. It works for both the nutrients you want more of and the ones you want less of. Really quick way to compare.
Okay. Now, that other section, the Chuthich, the notes, it mentions RDA and RNI values for Vietnamese people specifically, and energy levels.
Right. So while the per-CV is general, those RD-RNI values are more tailored recommendations for that specific population. And the energy guidelines, low, medium, high calories per serving, just give you another quick snapshot of the food's calorie density.
Makes sense. And the overall goal it mentions. Limit these nutrients under 100% DV for the whole day, and try to get over 100% DV get enough of these nutrients.
That's the general idea, yeah. Aggregate over your whole day.
It notes that trans fat doesn't have a percent DV, though. Why is that?
Well, the recommendation is basically to eat as little trans fat as humanly possible. So there isn't really a target daily value set for it.
Yeah.
Avoidance is key.
Gotcha. Avoid, avoid, avoid. It also highlights benefits like calcium for bones, fiber for digestion. Oh, and that milk comparison. 2% is fat-free, having similar calcium but different fat.
Yeah, that shows you can make choices, like reducing fat, without necessarily sacrificing other important nutrients. You just need to check the label.
And comparing different foods, it says use the per 100 grams info.
Yes. That's crucial if serving sizes are different. It standardizes the comparison, so you're looking apples to apples, nutrient-wise.
Okay, let's talk specifics. Fats. That guide suggests less than 10 grams total fat per 100 grams, even less for milk and cheese.
Those are general targets for moderation. Dairy can be a big source of saturated fat. Hence the tighter guidelines there.
Right. And for saturated fat itself, under 3 grams per 100 grams, it even lists the usual suspects: animal fat, butter, coconut oil.
Knowing where it hides is half the battle,
Definitely. Then fiber, aim for more than 3 grams per 100 grams. Whole grain cereal is the example. We hear about fiber all the time. Why is hitting that number important?
Oh, fiber's huge. Great for digestion, keeps you feeling full, helps manage blood sugar, and some types are really good for heart health too. So yeah, look for that higher fiber number.
All right, now carbs and sugar. This is where it gets tricky. The document says limit sugar to under 15 grams per 100 grams, but then it lists like a dozen different names for added sugar.
Yeah, it's like a secret code sometimes. Dextrose, fructose, glucose, golden syrup, honey, malt, maltose, lactose, brown sugar. They're all just different forms of added sugar.
So you really have to scan that ingredient list.
You absolutely do, because sugar itself might look low, but then you see 3 other types of syrup listed.
Sneaky. And it's the same with salt, right? Aim low, ideally under 200 milligrams per 100 grams, but watch out for other names.
Exactly. Baking powder, MSG, sodium bicarbonate, sodium nitrate, these all contribute to your total sodium intake. You got to become a bit of a label detective.
No kidding. Okay. The document also touches on organic and GMOs briefly. What's the main takeaway on organic labels?
Basically, there are different levels. 100% organic, just organic, made with organic ingredients. They tell you the percentage of organic stuff in there, helps you choose based on your preference. It mentions USDA, EU, and Vietnamese standards too.
And GMOs. It defines them, mentions the 2 main types, and says the current science doesn't confirm risks, but, people are still talking about it.
Yeah, it presents it pretty factually. Oh, and that PLU code thing on fruit stickers, that's interesting.
Right, like a 4-digit code is conventional, starting with 9 is organic, and starting with 8 means it's GMO, like 84011 for a GMO banana instead of 4011.
Yeah, it's a little tip if you want to know how your produce was grown. Kind of cool.
Okay, so that's label reading 101. Now, how does this all connect to, actually eating healthy and managing weight? Let's bring in the other sources. That Vietnamese healthy eating doc kicks off with the WHO definition: lots of fruits, veggies, whole grains, limiting sugar, salt, processed meats, bad fats.
Sounds about right. It's a pretty consistent message across the board. Focus on whole foods, less on the processed stuff with empty calories or harmful extras.
And for weight control, it talks about nutrient balance specific percentages for carbs, fats, protein, and controlling energy using something called food units. What's that about?
It's basically a portion control system. Different foods get assigned a unit value based on their calories and nutrients. So you aim for a certain number of units per day, spread across different food groups to manage intake. The document mentions Body Key by Nutrilite using this.
Interesting, like a simplified way to track.
Sort of, yeah. It gives examples like half a bowl of rice is 1 unit, an apple is a unit, 35 grams of lean beef is a unit, etc. It helps us visualize portions.
And that ties into limiting sugar, right?
Yeah.
Less than 10%, ideally less than 5% of daily calories from free sugars. That echoes the AHA advice, too. Remembering 5 grams is roughly a teaspoon really hits home.
It does. When you see 20 grams of sugar on a label, realizing that's 4 teaspoons, it changes things.
Definitely. Swapping bad fats for good fats is in there, too, and eating lots of colorful fruits and veggies. Why the focus on color?
Different colors usually mean different vitamins, minerals, and those beneficial plant compounds called phytonutrients. Eating a rainbow ensures you get a wider variety of those good things.
Makes sense. Eat the rainbow. And the salt advice is similar, too. Keep it under 5 grams a day. Use iodized salt. Watch hidden sources.
Yeah, those simple tips like taking the salt shaker off the table, choosing lower sodium versions, they add up.
I like the healthy eating plate visual they mention. Half the plate, veggies and fruit, quarter protein, quarter whole grains. Super simple.
Visuals like that are great. Makes balanced eating seem less complicated.
And back to those food units, they give a sample 2,000 calorie plan using them. But if that's too much tracking, there's the hand rule. I love this.
The hand rule's fantastic.
Yeah.
So practical.
So fat is about 1 thumb.
Yep. Carbs, like pasta or rice, about 1 clenched fist.
Okay. Fruit.
Same, 1 fist. Veggies, you get 2 cupped hands worth.
More veggies.
Always more veggies. And protein, like meat or fish, is about the size of your palm. Thickness, too.
That's actually really helpful. Easy to remember when you're out or serving yourself.
Exactly. No scales or measuring cups needed.
The doc also suggests 4 to 5 smaller meals a day to manage hunger and maybe boost metabolism.
The idea is to avoid getting ravenous, which can lead to overeating, and to keep energy levels more stable. Eating before you're starving, stopping before you're stuffed.
Good advice. And it wraps up with tips like cooking at home, reading labels, hey, we covered that, mindful eating, drinking water, planning meals, solid basics.
Foundational habits, definitely.
Okay, let's really drill down on added sugar now using the AHA and Harvard info. That 17 teaspoon average is just wild.
Oh. It really is staggering when you compare it to the recommendations.
And where does it come from? Biggest source, sugary drinks, sodas, fruit drinks, sports drinks, then desserts, sweet snacks, even sweetened coffee and tea, candy obviously, but also things like sandwiches and breakfast cereals.
It sneaks in everywhere, especially in processed foods. Beverages are a huge contributor because the sugar gets absorbed so fast.
Right, they mentioned that. Liquid sugar hits your system way faster than sugar in, say, an apple, which has fiber to slow it down. A 12-ounce soda having 10 teaspoons of sugar. Yikes.
That rapid blood sugar spike isn't great for your body long term.
So the AHA recommendations are much lower. No more than 9 teaspoons or 36 grams for men per day, and no more than 6 teaspoons, 25 grams for women.
Big difference from that 17 teaspoon average, isn't it? Puts it in perspective.
It really does. Makes you rethink that daily habit. And just like the other source, they hammer home all the different names for sugar honey, maple syrup, corn syrup, dextrose.
And they make that great point. Added sugar is added sugar no matter what it is called. Your body processes it similarly.
Good news is labels now have to list added sugars separately in grams and as a percent DV. That helps.
Huge step for transparency. Makes it much easier for people to track.
Now the health risks. This is sobering. Harvard and the AHA link sugary drinks directly to weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, gout, even potentially liver cancer, and a higher risk of premature death.
The evidence is really strong, unfortunately. Those liquid calories just don't make you feel full the same way food does, so it's easy to overconsume. Plus, some studies suggest they might even stimulate appetite for other sweet things.
And the portion sizes just keep getting bigger over the years.
That certainly hasn't helped matters. A small drink today is often what a large used to be.
They also mention the marketing, especially towards kids, which is a whole other issue. But bottom line, what should we drink instead?
Water is number one. Always. Sparkling water is great too, maybe with a squeeze of lemon or lime. Unsweetened tea.
What about diet drinks? Low-calorie sweeteners?
They touch on that. The research on long-term health effects is still kind of inconclusive. They might be okay as a temporary swap if you're drinking a ton of sugary drinks, but plain water is definitely the best goal.
Okay. Wow. So wrapping this all up, it really feels like the core message is you've got to understand those food labels, especially the sugar part, but also fats, fiber, sodium. That's key to making choices that are actually good for you.
Absolutely. It gives you control. You're making informed decisions, not just grabbing whatever looks good or has splashy marketing. You know what you're actually putting in your body.
And it's not just about spotting the bad stuff, right? It's connecting that label info back to building a genuinely healthy eating pattern. Less added sugar, more whole foods, balanced meals, like that healthy plate visual.
Exactly. The label is the tool, but the goal is that overall healthy diet. They work hand in hand.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening to this.
Yeah.
Next time you pick up a package, just pause for a second. Flip it over. Look for those added sugars. Check the percent DV for fiber or sodium, whatever you're focusing on. Just take that moment. Think about how that one item sits into your whole day, your whole health picture. Because honestly, these little choices, these small moments of paying attention, they really do add up. They can make a huge difference over time.